So hello everybody and welcome back. We're now delighted, or it's now my pleasure I should say, to introduce our final keynote speaker and indeed our final speaker of the conference before we pass things over to all of you out there for your final conclusions. So our final speaker is Matt Granryd, Director General of Gsma. So Matt, welcome. Now, throughout the course of the event, we've heard a wide range of different perspectives from all sides, really, from policymakers, of course, but also from industry representatives and connectivity providers from all sides. And I think to deliver the connected world of the future and meet the huge number of different use cases we're going to see, of course, we're going to need a wide range of different technologies to do that. But if we go back to the main title of the conference, we're looking at radio spectrum for IMT 2020 and beyond. So I think it's very apt that we give the final word of the day to the IMT community. So Matt, it's an honor to have you with us and really looking forward to hearing what you have to say. So the floor is yours.
Well, thank you very much, Dan. And it's a true honor for me to sort of end this conference. It's a real pleasure and honor to be here with you today, as I said. And thank you to the ITU and CITC for co-hosting this very important event. Now, it comes at the time when the decisions on how spectrum will be used and impact connectivity for decades to come. And connectivity is now more important than ever. Today, I want to talk to you about how openness and cooperation can build a thriving 5G industry, delivering innovative services that drive both business value and social value, irrespective of where you live or work. This year, the world of business has been rocked to its core. 2020 will be known in the history books as the year that changed everything, our priorities and our beliefs and our day-to-day lives, how we work and what we work on, prompting all of us to stop and think and reevaluate things. Every industry is now in a period of reevaluation, asking, does our understanding of what is important to our customers still hold true, or do we need to readjust or refocus? Well, these are energizing but challenging times to be in the telecommunications business. For the mobile industry, which has 5.2 billion subscribers and contributes some $4.1 trillion to the global GDP, the arrival of the pandemic has quite literally put us center stage. Right now, the whole world depends on mobile connectivity to be able to continue with life, albeit in a different way. Now, this is thanks to the business vision of this industry, which has over many years invested in robust, resilient, and secure networks. Mobile networks are ensuring that industries, organizations, and citizens in every country are now taking an accelerated step into the future, our accelerated future. So what does this future hold for the mobile industry? Well, what type of industry innovation and investments will best serve our accelerated future? The answer is quite simple: intelligent connectivity. 5G, together with AI, IoT, and big data, brings us to the era of intelligent connectivity, turning on the tap for digitization across all industries. And as has happened with 2G, 3G, and 4G, the full extent of the transformative value of 5G will only become apparent once it is fully rolled out. Now, we have seen over and over new technology being launched, developers and inventors explore and innovate, applications follow, and consumers around the world benefit. If we look back some 10 years, none of us had heard of WhatsApp, Instagram, Uber, or even Spotify, and companies like TikTok and WeChat had not even been founded. Now, these are just some of the billion-dollar companies that were built from 4G. Over the next decade, a similar wave of mobile-led technology unicorns will be born from 5G and will deliver our future economies. In this new era of intelligent connectivity, the combination of 5G, AI, IoT, and big data is already changing the way we live. Each transition has typically taken 10 years to mature and have had a lifespan of over 30 years. Now, we have seen 2G and 3G network closures, and more are expected as benefits of 4G and 5G tip towards outweighing the legacy networks. We believe that 5G will bring big opportunities for business to business and business to consumers, and that importantly, 5G will enable enterprises and governments to further change society and impact lives. And the question on everyone's lips, will 5G also bring a revolution in the way we as consumers behave? Well, we envisage that it will, just like 2, 3, and 4G did. 5G will certainly take services closer to the customer. And it will be faster, more reliable, and more secure. Our access to information and its granularity is taking a big, huge step forward. Making sure as many people as possible can take advantage of all of the benefits that connectivity brings is core to the GSMA's mission. In just the last decade, mobile has connected over 2.5 billion people to the internet, and mobile broadband coverage is now over 90% of the world's population. But with 700 million people living in areas without internet access, we just cannot afford to rest. Increasing access to the internet remains one of the great challenges of our time. So what is the current status on the 5G rollout? Well, 2019 was pivotal for 5G at the same time as 4G became the dominant mobile technology across the world, with over 4 billion connections. And many mobile operators are now evolving their networks to meet the demands of the 5G era. 106 5G networks have launched in 47 countries. 7% of connections are now on 5G, and more than 200 5G devices have been launched. And more than 35 of the 106 networks are fixed wireless networks, boosted by the need for work from home solutions that has come with this pandemic. Now, fixed wireless networks may not sound very innovative, but their role in parts of the world where fiber is not currently an option should not be underestimated. A further 90 operators have firm plans to launch, made up of half and half by European and Asian groups. Operators are expected to invest around $1.1 trillion worldwide between now and 2025, and roughly 80% of that will be in 5G networks. As mobile operators and leaders alike believe that this technology will facilitate faster innovation and meet the new traffic demands. Launching a 5G network requires a serious level of investment. In the 5-year view, US, Korea, Japan, China, and a few markets in Europe and Middle East are leading, while the rest of the world is a step behind. Although we have seen unexpected challenges for all countries this year, as the pandemic has impacted the rollout, all short term, we believe. Now, I am often asked about 5G standalone versus non-standalone. Well, in the near term, we are seeing a push for more standalone launches, a prerequisite for industrial and enterprise applications. China's operators have announced standalone 5G, as has T-Mobile in the US, and shortly also Rakuten in Japan. Now, at the GSMA, we're working closely with our members on defining the optimum approach to 5G standalone. In our most recent paper, we worked with 25 contributing operators and vendors to outline the spectrum and regulatory considerations for deployment. In comparison to non-standalone, 5G standalone networks demonstrate advantages in uplink, end-to-end latency, and dedicated capacity and edge computing. This will improve user experience in live 4K broadcasting and 360 degrees virtual reality, producing and delivering content in real time, in VR and AR applications based on cloud rendering, which will be a trend, meaning that mobile users can enjoy both with a lower device cost, and in online gaming services, especially in real-time interactive games. And enterprises are also laying a foundations now, looking at what problems 5G can solve in the future. And as with all competition, the timing of market entry is absolutely key. We will start to see many partnerships between operators and enterprises, opening opportunities in industry verticals such as manufacturing, automotive, and aviation. But what about consumers? Well, we too are becoming more aware of the potential benefits. Research shows that consumers in South Korea, China, and the Middle East currently are most willing to upgrade to 5G. Our long-term expectation for consumer take-up remains unchanged, and we forecast roughly 20% of the global subscriber base by 2025. So what are the consequences for human behavior? Well, this pandemic year has already changed our behavior with online and mobile education, mobile healthcare, and all efforts to support social distancing and contact tracing to keep economies growing. We expect further growth in all aspects of e-commerce, which is a major latent use case in some mobile-first markets, like India and much of Africa, where existing smartphone take-up levels are still below 25%. We also foresee a further reduction in the use of cash with more tap and go, both in developed and emerging markets, with the significant growth in mobile money. Successful 5G leadership is all about priorities, and I don't have to convince anyone here today about the importance of providing affordable IMT spectrum for everyone and everything. This topic has been covered in great detail in the last three days, and I would like to highlight a few issues now. Just over a year has passed since WRC 19 delivered a result that struck a good balance between enabling existing new opportunities with the millimeter wave 5G, which we are starting to see come to fruition, and protection for existing radio services. Now, I was lucky enough to travel to Sharm el-Sheikh and was, like everyone else, impressed by the massive undertaking and how well run the 5 weeks were. And now, as we start to focus on WRC 23, we must once again collaborate across continents and industries to ensure that we maximize spectrum benefits for all of society. Getting the pre-preparation right, including technical studies, is obviously key. Countries that want to position themselves as 5G leaders need to get low, mid, and high spectrum bands allocated and assigned. All three ranges of spectrum have important roles to play to realize the full potential of 5G. And as the vital spectrum is assigned, spectrum pricing continues to be a concern, as inflated spectrum prices have a negative repercussions on all citizens and the development of mobile services, including a slower network rollout, reduced quality of service, and poorer mobile coverage. Of course, the work to assign mid-bands for 5G is not complete when 80 to 100 megahertz in the 3.5 gigahertz range has been assigned. Regulators must look ahead to identify the spectrum needed to help 5G services keep up with the growing demand following the initial launches. WRC 23 is an excellent opportunity for doing this, with more capacity in the 3.5 and the new 6 gigahertz spectrum, as the latter band has become a hot topic recently. Going forward, the 6 gigahertz is priority band for mobile network operators. Of course, spectrum isn't the only priority that we have at the GSMA. To support 5G standalone business scenarios, the GSMA has published a series of powered by SA case studies and 5G standalone implementation guidelines. And we have recently launched a 5G IoT for manufacturing forum, where we bring together tier 1 manufacturers and the mobile ecosystem to ensure we meet the requirements as we move towards Industry 4.0, which, by the way, is something that the pandemic is accelerating. New technology techniques such as virtualized infrastructure, open interface standards, and mix and match vendor solutions are also priorities for critical to secure supply chain that can deliver on new capabilities. Features such as network slicing will help mobile operators offer innovative solutions that in many cases will make setting aside spectrum for verticals unnecessary. In the media and entertainment industries, 5G and open networking will be transformative, where operators can create bespoke networks across multiple geographies for an ultra HD experience. The GSMA has also created standard network slice templates that will create commercial possibilities such as low latency, high bandwidth, and high throughput, and the ability to support diverse services with specific performance requirements. We are also focusing on multi-access edge computing to ensure that businesses get close to their customers by placing their services as near as possible and employing highly reliable, low latency connectivity for multiple applications. Our vision at the GSMA is to unlock the full power of connectivity so that people, industry, and society thrive. The mobile industry will continue to do what it does best, namely invest in secure and resilient infrastructure so that the world can continue to adapt and evolve, to innovate so that the applications that we can't even imagine in 2020 will be driving whole economies in 2025, and foster a strong relationships with all partners across the mobile ecosystem. The mobile ecosystem is the great enabler across whole economies as we look into our accelerated future, a future that we are building together. With those words, thank you very much.
Mats, thank you so much, and a fantastic way to close our 3 days and some inspiring messages there. So we really do appreciate your time in joining us and for closing the conference in that way. Thank you again so much.
Thank you.
So that's almost it. We've had 3 full days, 3 busy days of discussions. We've had almost 1,800 of you attending the event, which is fantastic, and thank you all so much for that. We've had 85 speakers, 13 panel discussions, 8 keynote speakers, and 3 academic thinking points. But we wanted to now pass the final word over to all of you out there. So we wanted to close the conference with what we're calling a Have Your Say session. So this is an opportunity for all of you to come live up onto the stage to give your final thoughts, your final conclusions on the discussions that have been taking place. So if you look at the left-hand menu bar on your screen, you will see an area which is called the Have Your Say area. I'm going to make my way over there now. We have 2 moderators for the session with us. We have William Webb and Philip Dufresne, who are going to be with us to give their thoughts. And we'd like to invite all of you to make your way over there, come into the Have Your Say area, and you'll see there'll be a button you can press to request to be brought up live onto the stage and to give us your final thoughts and your final key takeaways for the conference. So please do make your way over there now. I will be seeing you over there very shortly. And once again, in the meantime, I would like to say a massive thank you to Mats and also to Boca, who obviously just spoke just before Mats, for providing our 2 final keynote presentations. And as I said, for providing some really inspiring messages to finish the conference off. Thank you to Mats, thank you to Boca, and I will see you all over in the Have Your Say area very shortly. Thank you.